Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Radha Bharinishwara, Radha Bharinishwara Radhe. Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya, Krishna Balaram Jaya, Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Jagannatha Jaya, Baladeva Jaya, Subhadra Mai Jaya Sudarshana, Jaya Gauranitai Jaya, Gauranitai Jaya, Gauranitai Jaya, Gauranitai Jaya, Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya, Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya, Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya, Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya, Pancha Tattva Jaya, Pancha Tattva Jaya, Pancha Tattva Jaya, Pancha Tattva Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jim Vishnupada Paramahamsa Prabhupada Charya Stotras. His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Jim Vishnupada Paramahamsa Prabhupada Charya Stotras. His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Ananda Gauri Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Shri Radha Bharineshwar Bhagwan ki jai. Krishna Balram ki jai. Jagannath Baldev Subhadra ki jai. Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Shri Lakshmi Narasimha Bhagwan ki jai. Manchatra Bhagwan ki jai. All glories to Assembled Devotees. All glories to Assembled Devotees. All glories and glories and glories to Assembled Devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Gurudev. Nitai Gaur Premanand. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. So we welcome all the devotees assembled here. Thank you for sharing your time for our online Srimad Bhagavatam session today. So without wasting much time, let us go to Srimad Bhagavatam. Before that, let us do the Mangalacharana. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Mukam Karoti Bhashalam Pangum Lankayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Bande Shri Gurum Tinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyam Ishwaram. So, I welcome all the devotees once again. So, please accept my humble obeisance to the Lord of Spirit of all the assembled devotees. So, we will read today's sloka is from chapter 7, which is the sacrifice performed by the Daksha. The verses that we are going to discuss today is from 22nd, text 22nd to 27. So we'll just read the sloka and see which all purports we can explain.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam Prabhuji. There are a couple of devotees waiting in the waiting room, Prabhuji. Can you kindly admit them? Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, I have made you a co-host because, I'll not be able to see that. So kindly, Prabhu, please admit you are the co-host now.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Okay,
Krishna.
okay. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Because I'm multitasking.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. तामुपागतमालक्ष्य सर्वे सुरगणादया प्रणमु सहसोत्थाय ब्रह्मेन्द्रात्रक्षनायका. Translation: as soon as the Lord was visible, all the demigods, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, the Gandharvas and all present there immediately offered their respectful obeisances by falling down straight before him. We'll read the other slokas also. Text 23. Tat tejasaha darucha sannajjihva sadhavas sadhvasa murdhanna dridanchali puta upadastur adokshajam. Translation: in the presence of the glaring effulgence of the bodily luster of Narayana, everyone's luster faded away. And everyone stopped speaking, fearful with awe and reverence, awe and veneration. All present touched their hands to their heads and prepared to offer their prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Adokshaya. Text 24. Apyarvak vritayo vyasya mahitva atma bhuvadaya yadamati grinanti sma kritanugraha vigraham. Translation: all the mental scope of even demigods like Brahma was unable to comprehend the unlimited glories of the Supreme Lord. They were all able to perceive the transcendental form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by His grace. Only by such grace could they offer their respectful prayers according to their different capacities. Text 25. Daksho grihita rana sadhanottamam yajneshwaram vishwasrijam param gurum sunandanandadhyanugair vritam muda grinan prapede prayada kritanchali. Translation: when Lord Vishnu accepted the oblations offered in the sacrifice, Daksha, the Prajapati, began with great pleasure to offer respectful prayers unto him. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is actually the master of all sacrifices and preceptor of all the Prajapatis, and he is served even by such personalities as Nanda and Sunanda. Now 26 is prayers by Daksha. Shuddham sudhamyu paratakila buddhyavastam chinmatramekam abhayam pradishidhyamayam tishtam stathaiva purushattumupetya tasyam aste bhavana birishuddha ivatma tantra. Translation: Daksha addressed the Supreme Personality of Godhead. My dear Lord, you are transcendental to all speculative positions. You are completely spiritual, devoid of all fear. And you are always in control of the material energy. Even though you appear in the material energy, you are situated transcendentally. You are always free from material contamination because you are completely self-sufficient. Text 27 is prayers by the priest. Ritvija ujuhu. Tattvam nate vayam ananjana rudra shapat karmanyavagraha diyo bhagavan vidamha dharmopalakshanamidam trivridaradhvarakyam jnatam yadarthamadidevam adhovyavastha. Translation: the priest addressed the Lord, saying, O Lord, transcendental to material contamination, by curse offered by Lord Shiva as men, we have become attached to fruitive activities. And thus we are now fallen and therefore do not know anything about you. On the contrary, we are now involved in the injections of the three departments of the Vedic knowledge under the plea of executing rituals in the name of Yajna. We know that you have made arrangements for distributing the respective shares of demigods. We'll read this purport. Vedas are known as Traigunya Vishaya Veda. Those who are serious students of the Vedas are very much attached to the ritualistic ceremonies mentioned in the Vedas. And therefore, these Vedavadis cannot understand the ultimate God of Vedas is to understand Lord Krishna or Vishnu. Those who have transcended the qualitative Vedic attractions, however, can understand Krishna who is never contaminated by the material qualities. Therefore, Lord Vishnu is addressed here as Ananjana, free from material contamination. The crude Vedic scholars have been deprecated by Krishna as follows. Ya imam pushpitam vacham pravadanti vipaschita vedavada partha nanyatasti vadina. Enough small knowledge are never very much attached to the flowery words of Vedas. They say that there is nothing more than this. So many verses, many purports, many translations. We will see whether we'll be able to do a little bit of justice to at least a few points in that. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vashatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The scene which we are seeing right now is that the Lord has appeared in the sacrificial arena of Diksha. So what happens when Lord Vishnu is visible? As soon as the Lord was visible, what happens? All the demigods, which means including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, the Gandharvas and all present there immediately offer the respectful obeisance by falling down straight before him. So, if you see, previously Lord Brahma was actually offering prayers to Lord Shiva, telling that he was the supreme. So, and those passages, we understand that those were indirect prayers to Lord Shiva. Indirect prayers to Lord Vishnu. Because we have heard in different scriptures that Vede Ramayane, what is that sloka? There is a sloka, no? Vede Ramayane, Vede Purane Ramayane, whatever in Vedas, whatever in Puranas, whatever is Ramayana, Bharate Purane Tata, Adyantavantashu Adhyascha Hari Sarvatra Giyate. So, we understand whenever Vedas or whenever Puranas glorify somebody who is other than Lord Vishnu, in actuality, it is actually they are also glorifying Lord Vishnu. Sripad Madhvacharya says that all the Vedic corollaries are actually glorification of Lord Vishnu. We may not know it directly. There might be certain statements which you feel like these are glorifying Indra, these are glorifying Vayu, Varuna, etc. But in actuality, Madhvacharya shows that all the Vedic mantras are actually attributed to glorification of Lord Vishnu. Why is that? During the beginning of creation, whatever the names which the Lord has given to all the devatas are actually the Lord's own names. So that means originally the names of other Devi Devatas are also the names of Lord Vishnu. So here we understand that Lord Shiva is also offering respectful obeisances to him by falling down straight before him. So how great is Lord Vishnu? This is a question we should understand. Srila Prabhupada always used to tell this point that you think that the Lord is great, but we should understand how great the Lord is. Simply by knowing that God is great is not enough. We should really understand how great is the Lord. So when we look at this question, we also see what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted us to get. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually wanted us to get the supreme topmost rasa, unnato jvala rasa. That is true. So he wanted to give us the highest. But before attaining the highest, there is always a baseline to start. So what is that baseline that we should start from? That baseline is also given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says this is the Sambandha Jnana. Jivera Surupa Hoi Krishnera Nityadasa. So this is where we should start from. And without knowing who is Krishna, his lordship, his energies, his Aishwarya, the Abhideya, which is the practice of following the instructions, lacks the necessary gravity. Without understanding the Aishwarya of the Lord, the Mahima of the Lord, our Sambandha Jnana becomes incomplete. Initiation itself is that, we try to connect to that Sambandha Jnana, right? When we take initiation, we all have one word in common, which is Dasa. So we start from that. We don't start from the position in which we are mother and father, or, in Valsalya Rasa, or we are Madhuri Rasa. No, we all start from the point of trying to understand the Lord from the point of a servant. So if you look at the Bhagavad Gita slokas 10.2, Krishna says that even the demigods and great sages cannot understand Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada says that they can understand neither his name nor his personality. Name vidu suragana prabhavam namaharshaya ahamadirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvasha. They can't understand Krishna, they can't understand the personality, or they can't understand his name. But then again, the next sloka he says that he who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord, who is the Lord of all the worlds, Krishna says one thing. He only undiluted among men is freed from all sins. Yoma majam anatim chaveti loka mahesharam. Asammoda samartyeshu sarva bhave pramuchyate. He is actually freed from all the sins. And Srila Prabhupada, in one of his purport, which is in 10.7, he says, one who is factually convinced of the opulence and the mystic power of mine, Krishna's, engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this, there is no doubt. So this I want to repeat once again. One who is factually convinced of the opulence and the mystic power engages in unalloyed devotional service. So if the Sambandha Jnana is not, Paka, then we cannot have faith in the Lord. To have the faith in the Lord, our Sambandha Jnana should become very strong. And Srila Prabhupada again in the purport says that unless one is firmly convinced of the different opulence of the Lord, he cannot engage in devotional service. So Prabhupada says that if we don't understand and become convinced about the Supreme Lord's opulences, he can never engage in devotional service. And what happens when we understand the opulence of the Lord? Then we understand that there is no other alternative than surrendering to him. And Prabhupada says that. So our question would be, where will we find this information? Because we understand Devatas can't understand him. We know that even Brahma or Lord Shiva can't understand him. We have seen when Lord's own expansions, even they can't understand him fully. We also know that Ananta Deva, who is with his thousands of hoods, and each hood is actually glorifying the Lord for eternal time. Still, he is not finished. So if the Lord's expansions even cannot understand the Lord, how can we understand Lord? And Srila Prabhupada says that without understanding this opulences, we cannot engage in devotional service. So the faith of a devotee depends upon understanding the Aishwarya Jnana, the vibhudis of the Lord. But there is a solution. This knowledge can be seen from the descriptions of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and similar literatures. So, unless we try to gain understanding about the opulence of the Lord, our faith can never be solidified. If the faith is not solidified, then Abhideya is waste of time. Prayojana also becomes waste of time. For example, if you look at our Sampradaya, there are 3 areas which we always should look at. The Sambandha should be right, it should be firm, the Abhideya should be right, and the Prayojana should be right. If there is any deviation in any of this, then we don't reach our destination. So starting from Sambandha, if our Sambandha is not very strong, then devotional service becomes difficult and people will not stay strong in devotional service. And what Jiva Goswami says in his Bhakti Sandarbha, he says something about this particular message. He says that Aishwarya Jnana provides the logic that make the faith unshakable. In Anucheda 202, he says this. If you don't understand the Aishwarya Jnana, that logic that we accept to make our faith unshakable is lost. And he also mentions that a person whose heart is still contaminated by material desires, the Lord's majesty acts as a purifying fire that creates the necessary respect. So, if we deviate from thinking about this subject, there is all possibility of us going to become a Sahajya. Because without understanding the Aishwarya Mahatmya of Lord, we treat the Lord as an ordinary person or a playmate prematurely. And what happens? We will not take the rules and regulations very carefully. We think that I have transcended that level. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't want to give this understanding. He wants to give us the Unnadojjala Rasa. So why should I look at the Aishwarya? And Jiva Goswami says that a devotee is prone to Sahajiya tendency. What do you mean by Sahajiya tendency? Treating the Lord as an ordinary person. He says that, oh, the Lord will forgive it. Whatever you do, you will not follow rules and regulations strictly. What you will say? Oh, the Lord is so pure. He is so merciful. He will forgive everything. This is Sahajiya tendency. And what does Aishwarya helps us? The Aishwarya also helps the devotee to solidify Sharanagati. One does not surrender to a friend, but one surrenders to the Supreme. If you see the pastime in which, okay, we may think that, but Arjuna, for Arjuna, this attraction was actually, completely bewildering. Yes, because Arjuna was in a higher level. Arjuna was already having an eternal relationship of understanding who the Lord was. So for him, Sambandha Jnana of Aishwarya becomes like a disturbance. But for sadhakas, we should have this understanding as the first thing when we come to devotional service. So Prabhupada says that this particular knowledge is required in order to increase one's interest in the loving devotional service of the Lord. And we see what Brahma and Devas, Lord Shiva and the Gandharvas, what they're doing. They're offering their obeisances. And how they're offering the obeisances? Fearful with awe and veneration. They're falling down. And they're choked in their feelings seeing the Lord. But why did the Lord appear? It seems that Lord is interested in ghee. Do you think that Lord came there because Diksha was offering the best vessels and offering ghee to the Lord in terms of the yajna? No. The Lord came to the sacrificial arena to actually bless everything. All the devotees who were present there, he wanted to bless. He was not it's not that because the offering was done, the Lord appeared. No, out of his mercy he came. So this is very, very important for us to understand that mercy of the Lord is the only way we can understand Krishna. And if you neglect to understand this, that the greatness of Krishna, then we will not be able to sincerely fix our consciousness in Krishna. Sincerely fix our consciousness in devotion service. As an example, you can think about how Lord Brahma, when he was born, if you look at that particular pastime, you will see that Lord Brahma, after his birth, he was actually looking at all these places. He was thinking, what is this place? So he understood that he was sitting on the top of that, lotus flower. So with his intelligence, he thought, okay, so I am sitting on the top of this lotus flower. There is a stem. Where am I and what is the source of this lotus flower? I can understand. How? Rather than speculating here, he physically went down, climbed down. And it is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam that millions of years he was trying to find out. He traveled millions of years. Can you imagine? Millions of years. Brahma, who can travel at the speed of mind. Millions of years traveling. Still he was not able to find out the source of the stem. And this is a small universe, which is, one small universe which is emanated from Lord Mahavishnu. He's traveling millions of years, still he couldn't find. So what he did, he went back, again traveling the same distance. He understood he can't. Physical exertion, finding out like a scientist, you cannot know the truth. So when he fixed his mind in tapa and doing devotion service by meditation, the Lord was revealed to him. So the Lord was satisfied by the austerity performed by Brahma. So this verse also, when we see that when the Lord comes here, says that tam upakatam alakshya sarve sura ganadhaya. Why did the Lord come? Again, the Lord came out of his mercy. He is not visible because of the ritualistic perfection, but because the Lord's desire to bless them. And in the 23rd verse, you will find that word is mentioned, adokshaja. So a person of adokshaja, you can't understand. So, and then the next verse says that even Brahma was unable to comprehend the unlimited glories of the Supreme Lord. The moment we hear the word Ananta, even though the word meaning is unlimited, our mind becomes limited with the meaning of Ananta or unlimitedness, because we can't comprehend it. So, inside the material universe, if Brahma couldn't find out the Lord who was within the universe, the unlimited understanding of the Supreme Lord, who is Karna Sai Vishnu, who is just a small Kala Avatara of Lord Krishna, we will not be able to understand the Lord. And even the prayers which devotees make is only because of the Lord's blessing. And then what happened now? Lord Vishnu accepted the oblations. And then Daksha Prajapati, who is now in the form of another devotee in the form of head made of the goat head, he began with great pleasure to offer respectful prayers unto him. And Daksha started offering his prayers to Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu. And Daksha is addressing key terms. He's saying, my Lord, you are transcendental to all speculative positions. You are completely spiritual, devoid of all fear, and you are always in control of the material energy. Fear doesn't arise in the Lord, but fear arises in the jiva. But those jivas who are in the material world, their foremost emotion is actually in the conditioned life is fear. Every point of time, there is reasons for us to become fearful. It can be different things. It can be individual. It can be collective. But fear is the feature of Krishna's external energy. Any person who is absorbed in the external energy of the Lord, they're always fearful. Why? Bhayam dvitiya abhinivesha tasyat ishad apedasya. Bhayam is arising from viparyaya smriti. What is that smriti? We are disconnecting our attachment from Krishna, and we are actually meditating on the external energy of the Lord. So the moment our attention is on the material energy, naturally we forget Krishna. And Prakriti, external energy, gives us 101 thousands of millions of reasons why we should be absorbed in material energy. This can be war, this can be pestilence, this can be moments like, lack of availability of resources. There will be many, many, many reasons where we should forget Krishna and look at, you should say, the bigger problems. Like when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was telling Srila Prabhupada that, why don't you surrender to Krishna? And Prabhupada said, right now we are independent. We are actually dependent. We can think about this only after independence. So Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he neglected that answer. He said, no, we should understand that the biggest problem an entity is facing is that he is forgetting and changing, or I would say postponing devotional service. So dependent or independent, war or no war, it is a duty of all the living entities to absorb themselves in devotion service. Because the moment you absorb ourselves in devotion service, whatever lamentations each person is engulfed in, that is gone. Shoka moha bhaya. All the three becomes immediately removed. So Daksha is telling, my Lord, you are transcendental. You are completely spiritual and devoid of all fear. And you are always in the control of material energy. Even though you appear in the material energy, you are situated transcendental. See, Daksha is telling, even though you appear in the material energy. And Acharya says that, see, he's telling he appear in the material energy. No. Krishna says that he is never touched by material energy. But Daksha is telling, even though you appear in the material energy, you are situated transient. Even a person who is in Brahma Bhuya state, he is Sagunan Samitita and Brahma Bhuya, right? And Lord can never be touched by material energy. And then devotees like, our acharyas like Jiva Goswami, he says something in this. He says, the Lord is Shuddha Sattva. His very presence, what happens when the Lord becomes present? His presence negates the influence of Maya. So when the Lord is appearing, there is no Rajas, there is no Tamas, there is no Sattva, nor there the influence of time. So the moment when the Lord appears, none of this can exist. So Jiva Goswami explains that at this point of time, Brahma, Shiva, which are the Gunavatas, they can become under the influence of Guna, but the Supreme Lord is never overcome by Maya. Because the Maya is the tool in which he uses to manage the world. And then, if you look at other Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura, he brings out something little more subtle sarcasm in the prayers of Daksha. Daksha, we know he has offended the greatest Vaishnava. He begged forgiveness. His head was replaced. Now he should be pure. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that no. There is still a sarcasm in the prayer of Lord, of Daksha. Because Daksha sees that the Lord is aparishuddhaiva. Daksha sees that the Lord is acting like a human. Did the Lord act like a human? Did he cry? Did he express grief? But we know that whenever somebody is crying, somebody is expressing the grief, it is under the modes of material nature. So, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, the moment he was addressing the Lord, he says he was looking at Lord Shiva. There was still a scornful glance towards Shiva. So he's telling, see, this is a tragedy. Lord, you are beyond guna. But the moment you heard that Satyajit was murdered, what did Krishna do? Okay, what did Krishna and Balaram do when Satyajit was murdered? Satyabhama came crying and told Krishna and Balarama that Satyajit, her father, was murdered. What did Krishna do? He started crying, alas, alas. Ahuna paramam kashtam. And Krishna's eyes become filled with tears. But the Lord is Atmarama. If the Lord is Atmarama and Krishna is unaffected by the happenings of the material world, why did Krishna started feeling, sorry, sorrowful at this point of time? And you look at the pastime when Daksha was killed. What was the mentality of Lord Shiva, who is the father-in-law? So Satyajit is Krishna's father-in-law. And when he was dead, we know that Satyajit also was not very favorable to Krishna, but finally he agreed to give his daughter in marriage to Krishna. Look at Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is affected by three gunas: He claims him to be Atmarama, but after his father-in-law was killed, Lord Shiva didn't even budge. So he says that, Lord, you are real. You are only completely real. All the other Devi Devatas, they are actually not completely pure. You are situated transcendently. You're always free from material contamination because you are completely self-sufficient. Why is that? Because he is the Antaryami. He is present everywhere. The Lord is present everywhere throughout the universe. And how he is present? He is present in multiple forms. He is present as Paramatma. He is also present in his expansions, and he is also present in his original form. So a person who can understand that he is the source of everything naturally become inclined to worship the Lord as master. Dasatvam, Dasi and Dasa. So in one way, the devotees, or I would say the Devi Devatas who are residing in the Dasha sacrificial arena, they're all happy. They're all fortunate. You know why? They got a personal audience of the Lord. But we don't have a personal audience of the Lord. How do I benefit? How can we benefit? So, answer is given by Narada Muni in Srimad Bhagavatam. He says in, I think it's 1.5.17. He says, not 17, yeah, Mantramurtim Amurtikam. He says, we can't directly see Krishna. But who is a person who can actually see Krishna? That person who has accepted the sound. If a person can understand and accept the sound of Lord Krishna, the sound vibration of Lord Krishna, and if one can surrender to the sound vibration. So now the question is, what is the sound vibration of Krishna? Foremost, when we are doing chanting, that is sound vibration of Krishna. And if you can surrender to that sound vibration, understanding that he is non-different, Srimad Bhagavatam says that such a person is actually seeing Krishna. So one is the sound incarnation, sound vibration, which is the name. Next is Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, which is his glories. So how should we worship that? We should worship that as Krishna. If you have seen how the Devatas are worshipping the Lord, how their voice become choked, how they are surrendering in front of Krishna, understanding that I don't have any glory. Because the moment the Lord came to that sacrificial arena, all the effulgence, which others were having, diminished. And nobody could see anyone's effulgence other than the effulgence of Lord Krishna. So we have to understand this fact of Krishna, that he is unlimited. And Mukundamala Stotra, there is a wonderful verse wherein he glorifies the Lord. I always probably mention this in my lectures. So this is about Prithvi Renu Anupana Payamsi Kaniga Phalgus Pulingo Napa. Prithvi Renu. Prithvi Renu Anupayamsi Kanika Halgus Pulinko Nabha. And what does it mean? Prithvi becomes like a Renu, dust particle. Small dust particle, Kanika. Prithvi Renu Anupayamsi Kanika Bhalgus Pulinko Nabha. And the devastation of the fire, that becomes just like a spark. So, devastation of fire, which engulfs all the entire planetary system, that becomes just like a small spark from the fire. Bhalgus Pulinko Nabha. And then the entire waters, so the entire space, that becomes Rendran. It becomes like a small part, small ear hole. The complete space becomes. And the entire ocean water, which is found in the earth, becomes just like a drop. And Shudra, Rudra Pitamaha Bravritaya. So all the Devatas, starting from Rudra, Pitamaha, they becomes like insects. What is the comparison he is giving? He is comparing to the dust of one particle from the feet of Lord Krishna. Drishte yatra tareke Sripada dhuli kana. So he is comparing one particle of dust from the lotus feet of the Lord, and he is comparing that to the entire host of Devi Devatas, complete creation, annihilation. He said, this particle is greater than all of them. So when we chant, we say that the name is not different from Krishna. But if during the time of chanting, we are disconnected from Krishna by absorbing, or I would say, by absorbing our attention and focus elsewhere, why this is happening? Because we don't know the glory of the Lord. When things around us go wrong, there is absolute difficulty all around us. But still, if we have faith in Krishna, how can the faith come? By understanding the glories of the Lord. So this is a time in which we can focus again by listening to the unlimited glories of the Lord. Bhaktivedanta Swami Thakur used to say that, he used to come up with a newspaper every day talking about the Lord. And people started asking him, how many days can you run this newspaper? And Bhaktivedanta Swami Thakur used to say that, you don't know unlimited pastimes. The glories of the Lord is unlimited. If I have the right resources, this can go unlimited point of time. So that unlimited Lord has come in the form of name. The unlimited form, the Lord has come in the form of our Archa Murtis. So we should actually strictly follow in serving them as per the prescribed rules and regulations. Let us not minimize the rules and regulations, thinking that, oh, we have a rasa. We already have a rasa, it's just existing with the Krishna. This is dangerous, and this is being termed by our acharyas as sahajiyasam. Sahajiyas are those people who don't take interest in rules and regulations, who minimize the rules and regulations. This is sahajiyasam. Even becoming a follower of ISKCON, we can exhibit those qualities by not following the rules and regulations, but not following our faith vehemently. So I pray to the Lord and all the wonderful devotees here, so that you bless me, so that I can also have a little bit of understanding about the glories of the Lord, and faithfully, have my interest in serving the Lord with full faith. Thank you so much. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gurudev ki jai. Gaur Premanand. Anybody who would like to add or comment? So if there is nothing, we can wind up. Any questions anybody is having? No. Okay. So thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhu, Uttam Krishna Das.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Shri Prabhupada, Jai Gurudev Maharaj.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Prabhu, thank you so much for morning, like in this situation also, a regular morning to connect us with Srimad Bhagavatam, Ganthura Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhu, almost at the end, not almost at the end you are talking about the Sahajiya. Prabhu, what is the exact definition of Sahajiya? Prabhu, Sahajiya qualities you said, but what is the exact definition? Could you please enlighten me?
Prabhu, Sahajiyas are those people who takes Krishna not very seriously. They think about the rasas, they accept Krishna, but they forget all the rules and regulations. They minimize Krishna. They think the pastimes are something which you can easily reach that pastimes. They don't take it very seriously. So this is my limited understanding, Prabhu. So Sahajism is Bhaktivedanta Thakur says Sahajism is nothing but you go against the rules and regulations prescribed by the acharyas, and his own whimsical way you worship Krishna. This is what I understand. Hare Krishna, I think Achyuta Sri Krishna Prabhu has a question. Yeah, Prabhu, please. On.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranams. Thank
Krishna,
you very much for a nice class, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, this backdrop was that Lord Vishnu appeared as a Yajna.
Yeah.
And during the course of the discussion, you mentioned that even expansions cannot understand Lord. That I believe it is Krishna. Even expansions cannot understand Sri Krishna. So does this expansion, I understand that Shiva and Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma falls into the category of the expansions also, Gunavatar. They also cannot understand Krishna. What about, my question is, Prabhuji, what about the other expansions of Lord Krishna like Sankarsana, Pradyumna? Do they also, cannot understand Krishna, Prabhuji? They are the first expansions of the Lord Krishna.
Prabhu, wonderful question. Thank you again. Uttam Prabhu asked a very, very wonderful question. I didn't glorify that question. It was probably one very relevant question. So next, whatever you asked is also very, very wonderful question, Prabhu, relevant question. Prabhu, you look at Balaram, who is the next expansion of Krishna. Balaram is not different from Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
It took 1 year for Balaram to understand in Brahma Vimohana Leela. Even Lord Balaram couldn't understand this is happening. All that friends of Krishna were actually, all the gopas and all the, calves. They were all Krishna. But Balaram, did he understand? He didn't understand. End of 1 year, Balaram was thinking, why is that? He's noticing, suddenly he's noticing. How can Balaram not notice that? Right? Even Balarama cannot understand Krishna if Krishna decides. Krishna mercifully, towards the end of 1 year, he just removed the Yogamaya on Balarama also.
Right.
So Balarama non-different from Krishna. Amazing. If he can't understand Krishna, So that is why devotees sometimes say that, Krishna, I doubt whether you can understand your glory. So even Krishna sometimes cannot understand his glory. That's why devotees say. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So, Hare Krishna. Let me once again thank all the wonderful devotees who have come here. Thank you so much. Please accept my humble obeisances. Kindly, I request blessings from all the wonderful devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Vamsi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Venkatesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Is Acha sitting next to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhuji, kindly turn the camera towards Acha. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji,
Hare Krishna.
we'd like to seek blessings from Prabhuji. Also, a few words on Srimad Bhagavatam that he actually releases us and would like to, give it or share it with all of us as a blessing to us, Prabhuji. Few words.
Prabhu, Dad is not able to hear you because,
you can
hearing capacity. Now his time is chanting. So, chanting time he will not speak, Prabhu, unfortunately. So, we'll definitely have this Prabhu later.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. On behalf of ISKCON Balram Desh, we thank you so much for